like there. At the end of the block, I turned the corner. Walking under the shade of the trees, I passed the house with the large female sphinx surrounded by a circular driveway. Every now and then, a heavy-set man would be out washing a Rolls-Royce, and he would wave to me as I passed. I'd wave back and continue home. He wasn't there that day, but the Buick was. It was when the car made another turn shortly after me that I got a little suspicious. Lots of people drove through the area hoping to see a famous resident, as if they expected Paul Newman to be out mowing his lawn. The funny thing is that it was almost impossible to tell the vacant houses from the ones that were lived in. If people went outside, it was almost always in their backyards. The low rumble of the car engine was making me anxious, so I picked up my pace, but tried not to make it too obvious. Eyes forward, I listened carefully. I was all set to run if I heard a door open. In class, they told us the tricks a pervert might use, that he was lost, that he knew our parents. I had retorts to all of them. Logic told me the best response would be to just get away. At random, I picked a back alley that ran between the big avenues fronting the houses. This was a side road that garbage men took, or where the help would unload groceries. Hardly anyone else ever used it. I didn't have to look back to know the Buick had followed me. The sound of the engine echoed down the back fences along the alley. In my still innocent mind, I thought of a million reasons why someone could be following me. Maybe it was a friend of Dad's or grandfather's who was lost. It didn't matter. At the end of one lot, a long hedge ran perpendicular from the street to the avenue in front. The wall of the neighboring mansion was only a foot away, forming a dark, narrow corridor. I was certain rats, raccoons, and other nasty creatures used it as an expressway to the trash cans, but it didn't matter. I ducked into the passage and ran toward the other end. Behind me, the Buick's brakes let out a high-pitched noise as the car rolled to a stop. I could feel the eyes of the driver looking at me from behind the tinted glass. I didn't turn back. I sprinted toward the keyhole of light at the end of the path. A twig, sticking out like a skeletal finger, scraped my cheek. My blouse and skirt were covered with dry leaves. I kept going until I reached the road that led to our block. I slipped through the bars of the huge wrought iron gates at the end of our driveway and clambered up it to safety. Out of sight and no longer a threat in my mind, the Buick became just one adventure among others in that particular day. It was just one more anecdote, like when Haley Siegel announced to our class that her sister had got her period the day before. None of us knew what it meant, but it seemed like a big deal when she said it. From the entryway, I heard voices in the back kitchen and found Grandfather and Dad sitting around the large wooden table, looking at sketches for a new illusion Grandfather wanted to add to the show.
"Hey, kiddo,"
said my dad, not looking up.
"Looks like you rolled your way home,"
Grandfather remarked, before crossing out something on the sheet of paper. I poured myself a glass of milk, then scooped in some chocolate powder, being careful to not hit the spoon against the side of the glass and get myself shushed for overzealous mixing, or a quip from Grandfather about ruining a martini that I didn't understand. I stirred as quietly as possible before placing the spoon in the sink to be washed alongside the glass when I'd finished. I peered between their hunched shoulders and kept as quiet as I could. They tolerated my presence as long as I avoided interrupting. If I was in a curious mood, that could be only seconds. Dad traced a line across the page and gave me a quick glance.
"Uncle Darius will be coming over tonight."
I hadn't seen Uncle Darius in ages. More lighthearted than either Dad or Grandfather. I always liked having him around the house, although referred seemingly behind my back and to his face as a fuck-up by my grandfather. He seemed pretty okay to me. He was fun. Remembering the kind of thing he should ask as a dad.
"How was school?"
"Haley Siegel's sister got her period," I replied nonchalantly. Dad's face grew red.